Hi guys. This actually lesson is going to be longer than usual. It's probably going to be about 5 minutes. So the topic is praying for a nation in peril. Um, and I'm just going to give examples of this where the Lord was teaching how to pray for a nation in peril. So the Lord is giving instruction to learn to develop new skill sets and how to pray for a nation in peril. In the book of Jeremiah 9:1 and 13:17, um, in my previous lesson, I explained the heaviness that can be put on people that are in the prophetic or a prophet, like the prophet Jeremiah. He was the weeping prophet, instructed by God on how to lament, which is an extreme form of sorrow and grief. That is a form of prayer, um, and he also was instructed to show the women how to lament as well and pray for a nation that was in peril. In Jeremiah 9:17 through 20, God gave the prophet Jeremiah instructions for the women to raise up a wall for them to lament the destruction of Jerusalem. They already saw it, foreseen that was coming. It was a place of compassionate grief, being brokenhearted, that they knew that judgment was going to come. And but yet at the same time, they were hanging on to hope. At this point in time, where the prophet Jeremiah was being instructed how to lament, it was because Jerusalem at that point in time actually fell into Baal worship and a whole bunch of stuff. And so the Lord actually instructed him to pray for that particular nation. And I see that a lot of times that we are actually set apart to actually pray for our nation as well as pillars. But that is another topic for another time. Anyway, in the book of Isaiah 9:6 speaks about Jesus, that the government, the weight will be upon his shoulders. It's because he's the Messiah. And he's been given full authority for justice and peace. So you can't have one without the other. The heaviness that he carried in walking in as a prophet, because he was actually a prophet as well, is in seeing what was to come. So in Luke 22:44, Jesus prayed in anguish, and his sweat actually became like tears of blood that fell to the ground. This was such a high level of prayer, of a form of lament, which was what I talked about as a form of prayer, spoke into heavenly realms. And an example of this would be in Genesis 4:10, when Abel's blood cried out for justice. Jesus was not just carrying the weight of a singular nation, but of nations, plural, and what was to come. The magnitude of the weight of his that was on his shoulders was unbelievable, because you're not just thinking about the nations that were from the past and of those times, but clear up to the present. So I just wanted to give the magnitude of the weight that he was carrying, the government on his shoulders, and the responsibility, and that he could see everything that was going to happen from that point on, clear up to what we were going to be seeing in Revelations. So that type of magnitude, in that form of instruction and knowing how to pray for a nation that is in peril, is something to actually learn from, and to actually learn how to partner with the Lord and how to grieve with him for a nation that is in peril. All right, that is the lesson for the day. God bless you all, and take care.